Coach Calipari, if you could just start with a couple of opening thoughts, and then we'll go to questions.
Congratulations to Kansas State. They played well. They played the kind of game, a physical game, and did what they had to do, and shot 35% and won a basketball game. So my hat's off to them. I'm proud of my team. Had our chance to win. Didn't play particularly well for us, but still had a chance to win. I should have called that timeout late with 19 seconds to go, but we had worked on something, and I thought we could catch them off guard. Veteran team, should have called a timeout. Can't put that on these guys. That's right on my shoulders. So proud of our kids, though. Proud of their effort.
Okay, we'll go to questions. Let's direct them to the student athletes as much as we can right off the bat. Raise your hand, and we'll get a microphone to you. Center of the room, fifth row.
Chase Campbell, Kentucky Colonel. PJ, you had a tough time making free throws tonight, but you still had 15 rebounds and 18 points. How would you assess how you played today?
We lost. I didn't play good at all. As you see, I went 8 for 20 from the line. I feel like if I made at least half more of those, we'd have won the game. So, I didn't play really good.
Raise your hand. We'll get a microphone to you. Questions for the student athletes? There you go. Fourth row on the right.
For Shea, what was the plan on the last possession of the game, and how'd you feel about the look you got to tie it?
It was a pin at the free throw line for Wenyan. But it took a little too long to progress, and then I had to take a tough shot. And obviously I missed and disappointed with the result.
Raise your hand. We'll get a microphone to you. Questions for the student athletes? If there are no more for them, I'm going to let them go. Okay, center of the room, fourth row.
Jay Busby, Yahoo Sports. To any of you three gentlemen, when you get that 7-0 deficit, when you get that 13-1 deficit, what's going through your heads at that point?
Kevin, why don't you take that, please?
We just wanted to keep fighting at that point. We was down 12 early, but we knew we still had a lot of game left. We made our runs, they made their runs, so we wanted to make sure that we just get back close in the game going into halftime and just come out in the second half and fight, but didn't get the results we wanted.
Any more questions for the student athletes before I let them go? Gentlemen, you guys can go. Thank you. Questions for Coach Cal? Fourth row, fifth row in the center.
Coach, yesterday you were talking a lot about your team drinking the poison. Do you think they drank it at all?
No, I think the game was physical. There was the freedom of motion to cut and do it. It was a physical game. And it kind of got us a little out of rhythm. And it wears you down. I thought Shea got worn down. We were doing some things late. We had some turnovers that we have a lead now, and we turn it over a little bit, and there's a foul called on a free throw. We have a 1-point lead at that time, and playing like we did, which was amazing. We had our chances, but I come back to the big play for us was down 2. We were going to run a play to go weak side corner for a 3. And we end up not having it, throwing it to quad A. I was trying to get a timeout at that point, but that's on me. That's not on these kids. That was a choice I made. The last play was a curl. We were trying to pop Wenyan, and it kind of got messed up. But look, you can't. These kids fought in that. They were down 13-1. I called them in and just said, hey, guys, there's a whole game left. By the halftime, I said, we won the rest of that half by 7. Just keep playing. There were plays in the game that, we just didn't make. But you got to give Kansas State credit. They played in a way that they had to play to win the game, and they did.
2 questions here on the second row.
Alex Garber with ESPN. I was talking to a couple Kansas State players who were upset. They said your players left the court before they could shake their hands. I just wonder what you saw with that, what happened there.
Well, I went down to shake their hands too, and they were turned and celebrating, so that I walked off. What had no disrespect for anything, just that they were celebrating, and I was happy for them to. You know, I walked off too, but I went down. I shook all the coaches' hands. I went down to shake their hands, and they were, you know, which I understood. They're in the Elite Eight game now, chance to go to the Final Four. So there was no. My team's not like that. Neither is our program. There's no disrespect in any way. They beat us. They deserve to win the game.
One more question, second row here.
Coach, obviously there were a lot of fouls on both sides. Do you really feel like a game that moves at a snail's pace like that really drains the energy from the crowd?
I don't know. You know, you just have to, you know, again, it's a hard game to play. But if it's allowed to be that way, where there's a lot of physical contact and stuff, then you just got to play. However it's being officiated, you got to play.
Fourth row on the right.
Hey, John Fletcher Page for the Courier-Journal. You've called this your most rewarding season. Now that it's over, do you feel like you got the most out of this team?
Yeah, again, both individually and collectively, this was a rewarding year for me. I wish it could have ended in another week, but, you know, for me to see how individual players got better, for me to see how this team came together, for me to see Jared in, Jared out, all the stuff that went on with injuries, and they hung in there and played a bunch of freshmen. I mean, I thought they really performed.
One more there.
And do you expect to get the bulk of this team back, more players than usual? And do you think all the things that it's gone through this season will pay off next year?
I don't know yet until I sit down with all the guys, sit down and talk and see where they are with things and where their families are. But I have no idea. We hadn't discussed it.
Raise your hand. We'll get a microphone to you. Are there any more questions for Coach Calipari? Okay, one more.
Just to follow up, Ty Winyard hasn't been making any trips in the postseason. Do you expect him to be back next season?
Don't know that yet until I get back on campus and we get with all the players.
Okay, Coach, thank you
Thanks.
very much.
Thank you.